Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my videos. Alex Telles and Donny van der Beek want to leave Manchester United. We are set to have transfer talks with Donny van der Beek. Donny van der Beek could face more competition for a starting spot next season, even if Paul Pogba quits the club. Now, Mark Hughes was recently talking about Donny van der Beek, and he said he feels lost at Manchester United, and he said he's edging closer to a Man United exit. Van der Beek has played nowhere near as much as I expected. Most of his appearances have come from the bench. He's only started 2 games in the league this season. And Ollie made an admission earlier on this season regarding Van der Beek. And he said he is unhappy at the club due to his lack of game time, but he promised him more game time at Man United. He'd come back from injury not so long ago. Ronald de Boer has backed Donny van der Beek to be a success at Man United, but at one point he urged him to leave the club to boost his chances for the Euros. Now, it did say not so long ago that Donny van der Beek feels loved at Manchester United despite his lack of game time, but prior to that he said he's threatened to quit the club after one season due to his lack of game time, and he said he wanted to hold showdown talks with Ed Woodward over his future. Now, ESPN said back in January that we rejected several loan offers for Donny van der Beek because we was reluctant to let him go. We got him from Ajax last summer in a deal worth £40 million. And he's under contract with Man United until 2025. And he's versatile, he can play in 3 different roles. He can play as a box-to-box midfielder, that was his predominant position at Ajax. He can play as a number 10 and you can put him out wide. But I've said numerous times we need to use him more because he is a good player. But I think he should leave because he's not getting enough opportunities. Alex Telles, he's another player that hasn't been given enough opportunities. When we got Alex Telles from Porto last summer, I expected him to be our first choice left back, but it hasn't happened. At one point, Alex Telles did have COVID. But in some of the games he has been involved in, he has done well. He's got forward well, he's got in some good positions. Defensively, he's been quite good. We got Telles in a deal worth £15.4 million from Porto. He's our second choice left back. Luke Shaw's our first choice left back. I prefer Luke Shaw to Alex Telles because Luke Shaw gets forward much better. He provides width. He makes good overlapping runs, and defensively Luke Shaw's superb. And Shaw's had a good career at Man United apart from his injuries. He's been at the club now over 6 years. I think we are preparing to offer Luke Shaw a new contract. But I think quite a few players are going to leave Man United in the summer transfer window. There's a good chance that Edison Cavani's going to leave. The Uruguayan coach has urged Donny van der Beek, Edison Cavani, to leave. Football Insider said earlier on this season that Edison Cavani had reached a verbal agreement to join Boca Juniors at the end of the season. Now, if Cavani leaves us in the summer transfer window, we won't receive a transfer fee because his current contract expires in June. We do have an option to trigger his contract for a further year. Now, Ollie said he's hopeful that Cavani will stay at Man United for next season, and he's revealed we've been in contract talks with Edison Cavani. But Solskjaer said earlier on this season that Cavani was closer to Boca Juniors than staying at Man United. Reports from Argentina said earlier on in the season that Cavani's decided to leave Man United after one season, and his father came out a few weeks ago and said that Cavani is unhappy and he doesn't feel comfortable in England and he wants to leave. Cavani sustained a few injuries at Man United, but to his credit, he has made a fantastic impact since he's come in. His hold-up play is good, he's created chances, his movement in and out of the box has been good, and he's scored goals. We got him on a free transfer last summer. He signed a one-year contract with Man United with an option of a second year. Now, there's a lot of Man United fans that are saying we need to sell Anthony Martial in the summer. I don't think Anthony Martial is no longer good enough to represent Man United. He's been out of form for the vast majority of this season. He's had chances, but he hasn't converted them. If we sell Martial in the summer, I reckon we'd get £30 million. But early on in the season, Solskjaer said he's backing Martial to rediscover his form, and he has been impressed with his work rate. He's just come back from injury not so long ago. He's been at the club over 5 years now. We got him from Monaco for 54 million. I think Martial's had 2 good seasons. He was good last season and he was good in his debut season under Louis van Gaal. I think it was last season Solskjaer gave him that number 9 shirt. But he isn't the long-term player for Man United, Anthony Martial, I can assure that. Juan Mata, there's a good chance we're going to offload him, because Juan Mata doesn't even get in our team now. Juan Mata's current contract expires in June. There is an option to trigger his contract for a further year. Earlier on this season, he rejected an 18 million a year contract offer to play in Saudi Arabia. It was an unnamed Saudi Arabian club, by the way. Earlier on this season, Ollie said he wasn't surprised that he was linked to a move away from the club. But in the games he's been involved in, he's done well. I think Matt has had a good career at Man United. He's been with us since 2014, so he's been at the club now around 7 years. We got him in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea in 2014. We brought him in under the David Moyes era, but Mata has lost that yard of pace, and plus he's in his 30s. Matic, there's a good chance we'll get rid of him because he isn't one of our first choice midfielders. But he still gets his opportunities. He's done well in some games as Matic, but in the vast majority of his games at Man United, he's been too inconsistent. And the reason I've always had my strong reservations about him is because he's always been a slow player. The club made a mistake giving him that new 3-year contract before the start of this season, I think it was. Matic has been at the club almost 4 years. We got him in a deal worth £40 million from Chelsea back in 2017. Fred, do you think we'll sell him in the summer transfer window? Fred's been criticised a lot, reflecting on his abysmal performance against Leicester in the FA Cup quarter-final. Gave the ball away countless times, and he was accountable for Leicester's first goal. It was probably his worst game in a Man United shirt. We got Fred in a deal worth £52 million from Shakhtar Donetsk a few years ago. He wasn't worth the £52 million we got him for. Paul Pogba could still sell him in the summer transfer window. I'd like him to potentially stay past the summer because Paul Pogba's an imperative player. He brings creativity to the team. Disregarding Pogba, we lack creativity and we are far too defensive, and in recent months we've been getting the best out of him. He came on against Milan and delivered the goods, scored the goal and made an instant impact. We need to play Paul Pogba on that left wing persistently, in more of an advanced role because that's where he's more effective. Paul Pogba come back from a thigh injury not so long ago, and Didier Deschamps, the France manager, has been talking about Paul Pogba again, saying he needs to be given more game time, for his good form. But he has had a long-running transfer saga. He's been relentlessly linked with a move to Real Madrid. PSG have been in for him, and Juventus have been in for him. There's a good chance he will go back to Juventus because he did endure 4 very good years with them before he rejoined Man United. Reliable journalist Fabrizio Romano said that Juventus are refusing to give up on re-signing Paul Pogba, and he said Ronaldo is key to Paul Pogba's exit. Juventus want a Paul Pogba swap deal, and they're willing to offload Adrian Rabiot and Aaron Ramsey to afford Paul Pogba. There was narratives coming out from the Italian press earlier on this season saying that Juventus offered us 4 players in exchange for Pogba. But we sell him in the summer transfer window. I reckon we'd get from between 60 to 70 million pounds. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is hopeful that Paul Pogba will sign a new contract. He has revealed we have been in contract talks with Pogba, but as far as I'm aware at the moment, we've not made a formal contract offer. Earlier on this season, Ole suggested he could sign a new contract. Paul Pogba's under contract with Man United until June 2022, because earlier on this season we triggered that 1-year extension. As it stands at the moment, he is our most expensive signing because we paid £89 million for him, and this is Paul Pogba's 5th season at the football club since he rejoined. Matthias Pogba, Paul Pogba's brother, gave us an update on Paul Pogba's future earlier on this season, and he advised Man United to sell him because he said there's a good chance he'll leave for free next year, and he said he's got no intentions of signing a new contract. As we all know, Mino Raiola is desperate to get his client out of the club. Mino Raiola doesn't have a good relationship with Man United, and he has been criticised a lot. Phil Jones, I want him to leave. Too inconsistent, plus he doesn't get in our team. Jones is the only outfield player that's still here from the Sir Alex Ferguson era. This is his 10th season at Man United, so he has been a long servant. I'm expecting Romero to also go. I think we'll be looking to get rid of Diego Dalot permanently. Eric Bailly, there's been a lot going on with him recently. Now, contract talks for Eric Bailly are on hold. Bailly wants assurances over his playing time. Bailly recently apologised to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and his Man United teammates for his disrespectful behaviour, because he said Bailly was furious with Solskjaer because he felt disrespected and not wanted, and he believes we're only offering him a new contract to simply increase his asking price. Now, Bailly's got like 15 months left on his current deal, but I want us to keep him potentially past the summer because he is a good centre-half. My only element of concern about Eric Bailly, he's too injury prone. So imagine if we sell them players in the summer transfer window, we'll generate a substantial amount and it'll help us with our rebuilding process. But yeah, in the summer transfer window, we're going to focus on the incomings and the outgoings, aren't we? I'm expecting Man United to make around 3 or 4 signings in the summer transfer window. And I've already identified the weaknesses in the squad. I think we definitely need a centre-half. We need someone to go alongside Maguire. We need a defensive midfielder. We need a right winger. And we need a striker. Reports have actually said we're looking for a right back to provide competition for Wan-Bissaka. But there has been a lot of players on our agenda. The news on Marcos Llorente from Atletico Madrid. Recent narratives have said that Atletico Madrid have set the price for Man United to sign Marcos Llorente, we will have to pay his entire 103 million release clause. So Atletico Madrid have made it clear they'll not sell Marcos Llorente for cut price fee. Now, reports from Spain said on Friday that we made an offer of 68.5 million for Marcos Llorente, and he says we are prepared to double his £90,000 a week wages. Marcos Llorente can play as a midfielder and a second striker, so he's versatile. Atletico Madrid paid £35 million for him from Real Madrid, and he's got a contract with Atletico Madrid until 2024. They got him in 2019. He did actually endure 11 years at Real Madrid before he went to Atletico Madrid. He also had a loan spell with Alaves. And he's 26 years of age, so he's in his prime, and he's got a lot of development in him. So, would he be the right calibre player for Man United? The move obviously looks unlikely, doesn't it? Like it said on Friday. Even though we submitted the offer. Now, there's a chance that Man United will sign Harry Kane in the summer transfer window, because Harry Kane wants to leave Tottenham and he is unhappy. Now, Harry Kane has dealt Tottenham a major blow, because Harry Kane has refused to commit his future to the club, and he's delaying his transfer decision until after the Euros. Now, Harry Kane is valued at £150 million, which is a substantial amount. We'll have to pay that, to convince Tottenham to offload him. Now, it's us and City that want him, because us and City are both in search for number 9s. Now, David Ornstein was recently talking about Harry Kane. He said that he's spoken to people, and he's mentioned that Harry Kane wants to leave. He said he's committed whilst he's at Tottenham, but he wants to win trophies, and he's not experiencing this at Tottenham. Now, Kane has been at Tottenham for 17 years. Joined their youth setup in 2004, was in their youth setup for around 5 years, and he got into Tottenham's senior squad in 2009. I think Kane's made around 234 appearances in the Premier League, and he's scored 160 goals. He's got a contract with Tottenham until 2024, and he's on around £200,000 a week. But Harry Kane is regarded as one of the best strikers in the world. He's a prolific goal scorer. His link-up play is very good. Harry Kane has won the Golden Boot a couple of times. He's had loan spells as well before with Leyton Orient, Millwall, Norwich and Leicester. I'd take Kane at Man United because obviously he's well proven in the Premier League. Erling Haaland, as you all know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer would love to sign him. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer worked with Erling Haaland at Molde. Solskjaer gave Erling Haaland his debut at just the age of 16. And Solskjaer keeps calling Erling Haaland to persuade him to join Manchester United. And earlier on this season, Ole said he was following Erling Haaland's progress, and he said he's keeping in touch with Erling Haaland. And back in December 2019, Solskjaer and Woodward went to Norway to meet up with Haaland to negotiate a possible move to Man United. Borussia Dortmund have revealed their asking price. It's £154 million. Dortmund are going to find it extremely difficult to sell Haaland if they are demanding that much. There's a good chance Haaland will leave Dortmund, especially if Dortmund fail to qualify for the Champions League. And Erling Haaland's father, Alf Hinch Haaland, before has spoken about his links to Man United, and he's spoken about his son's career and his prospects, and he's actually advised him to join Man City. Haaland does have a £68 million release clause, but it doesn't become active until next year. Mini Oriola, his agent, said earlier on this season there's only around 4 Premier League clubs that can afford Erling Haaland. But since his arrival at Dortmund, he has been a revelation. He's been at Dortmund around 16 months now. He's got a contract with them till 2024. Dortmund paid just £17 million for him. And as you all know, there has been quite a few centre-halves on our agenda. I recently given you the news on Pau Torres from Villarreal. Apparently, he wants to come to Man United. And the Real Madrid president, Florentino Perez, is angry with Man United for ending the race for Pau Torres because Real Madrid were emerged as the favourites. We believe we can get Pau Torres for less than his £52 million release clause. Rafael Varane, he's been another centre-half on our agenda. Jules Koundé's been on our agenda. So too has Kalidou Koulibaly and Sergio Ramos. But I reckon that Solskjaer needs at least £200 million if he's to get the players he wants in the summer transfer window. He said earlier on this season that our transfer budget had been revealed. It was £80 million, and a lot of United fans were shocked in that aspect because we know £80 million is nowhere near enough for us to get the players we want to recommend in. But we must get the right players in the summer transfer window. This year's summer transfer window is huge for Man United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. It will be Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's 5th transfer window as permanent Man United manager. I can assure Solskjaer is going to be Manchester United manager in the summer transfer window. He's going to be Man United manager next season, because we won't be sacking Ole Gunnar Solskjaer even if we fail to win the Europa League. Obviously, Ed Woodward has come out and said that Solskjaer is the right man to lead the club forward. But Woodward's come out several times to show his support for Ole. Even during them bad periods, Woodward assured that his job was safe. And he released a statement earlier on this season saying that the progress by Solskjaer and the players this season is clear. So in that aspect, Woodward is backing him. There's a good chance Solskjaer will get good backing though in the summer transfer window. Obviously reflects on what Woodward said, and obviously we've got John Murtough as our director of football. And it was the right decision from the club to get a director of football in, because I said that's one of the structural changes that we needed. And John Murtough knows the club inside out, and Darren Fletcher, he's our technical director. Darren Fletcher endured 2 decades as a player for Man United, so he knows the club through thick and thin. You know, Michael Carrick's part of the club and Kieran McKenna is part of the club. I can assure that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is not the long-term manager for Man United. The main explanation he is still Manchester United manager is because he is a club legend. That's what's basically saved him, you know. Disregarding being a club legend, I'm almost certain he wouldn't have been here now. Because Solskjaer endured 11 years as a player for Manchester United and he flourished under Sir Alex Ferguson's guidance. So our board have got a soft stance on Ole. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has agreed to sign a new 3-year contract worth £30 million. It's likely to be 2 years with an option of an extra one. Sources at Old Trafford did say though a few weeks ago that talks were set to begin any day on the new deal. Because obviously Ole is now into the final year of his current 3-year contract. Does Ole deserve a new contract? In some aspects, yeah. In some aspects, no. But I think Solskjaer has to win a trophy as Manchester United manager, because he's not yet won a trophy as Man United manager, and he's been Man United manager over 2 years. We haven't won a trophy since 2017, and that's nowhere near good enough to our standards. A club of our stature need to be winning trophies, and our only chance of a trophy this season is the Europa League. That is our only chance. But Solskjaer came out not so long ago and said that winning trophies is an ego thing. He said that having regards to some managers and some other clubs, and he says clubs like Man United trophies no longer prove success. I've got to totally disagree with him on that aspect, because football is about winning trophies, and a club of our size should be doing that, you know. Solskjaer's not yet got us to a major final either. You know that I've got my big concerns about Ollie, like I've been through with you already. But we have got to credit him in quite a few aspects. You know, we are second in the Premier League. At one point, he got us top of the Premier League. That's obviously when we was in the title race. We've got a very good away record in the Premier League. We haven't lost away from home in the Premier League for over a year. You know, Solskjaer got us to the FA Cup quarter-final. He's got us to the Europa League quarter-final. Got us to the EFL Cup semi-final this season. Did well last season in his first full season. Guided us to 3 semi-finals. Got us a 3rd place finish, the second highest we've finished since Ferguson, and got us qualification for the Champions League. And went on a 19-game unbeaten run in all competitions last season. We was 14 unbeaten in the Premier League. And I also like the way that Ollie has promoted the youth. He has made some good signings since he's come in. You know, he's spent almost £300 million. He's got rid of a lot of players as well since he's come in. And we've enjoyed very good periods under him. So they are the positives you can take. This is his 2nd full season at Man United. And I said this season was always going to be a big season for him. If we can finish 2nd in the league and we can win the Europa League, I'll turn around and say, yeah, that represents a good season for Man United, and that gives us something to build on going on into next season. I don't think Solskjaer can lead us to a Premier League title. You know, we haven't won the Premier League since 2013, which is around 8 years ago now. You can probably say that Ollie is our best manager since Ferguson, though, because we have seen some consistency under him. But I think Ollie's in a position that he shouldn't be really in. You can probably say that the club gave him the job too soon. Maybe we should have waited until the end of that particular season to give him the job. And Solskjaer knew when he'd taken over at Man United it was going to be a massive job, despite him knowing the club through thick and thin. Because we did appoint him in December 2018. And it's exactly 2 years ago today since Solskjaer got the job permanently. But reflecting now on his being at Man United, he has gained some managerial experience and he has learnt quite a bit on the job. But yeah, there's a lot of United fans that are Ollie out. Not so long ago, Ollie outs were trending on social media after our 3-1 defeat to Leicester. But in the last 8 years, nothing has changed at Manchester United. You know, it's just been an ongoing cycle of inconsistency. You know, mistakes have been made in the last 8 years or so. That's why we haven't been as consistent as we'd like to have been. The board's been one of the biggest problems at the club for several years, reflecting how poor our recruitment policy's been. We've overpaid for players. And in general, the managers that we've had have not got the players that they wanted to recommend in. You know, 3 managers have been sacked since Ferguson retired. You know, we sacked David Moyes, we sacked Louis van Gaal, and we sacked Jose Mourinho. You know, we spent over £1 billion on players in the last 8 years and must have brought around 37 players in, something like that. A lot of the players we've brought in the last 8 years haven't been the right calibre players for Man United. But we haven't been the same team since Ferguson retired. And we're never going to be the team that was under Ferguson, so we've got to accept that in that aspect. So yeah. So anyway guys, that's everything to update you today. Drop me comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribe as always. I'll be on with another video tonight. Take care, God bless.